Once again, I am welcoming you to my video lectures on signals and systems. And yesterday I was solving problems on periodicity. So while solving one of the problems on periodicity, we came across what is known as Euler's identity. It is a very useful relationship. So one must know what is Euler's identity. So I am devoting this lecture exclusively for diploma students for them to understand this Euler's identity. Please remember these two relationships. E power j theta. This e power j theta is what is called as exponential function. Cos theta and sin theta are trigonometric functions. E power j theta is equal to cos theta plus j sin theta, and e power minus j theta is equal to cos theta minus j sin theta. These two are called Euler's identity. Now, I will explain what is Euler's identity. So, I will start from fundamentals. As you all know that what are scalars and vectors? Scalars and vectors. Scalars and vectors. What do you mean by scalar? Scalar has got only magnitude, no direction, whereas vector possesses both magnitude and direction. I will give example. For example, say 10 kg of tomato. So if you say 10 kg of tomato means it is of 10 kg mass. It is only mass. So 10 kg amounting to 10 kg. And there is no direction. That is called as scalar. Example, mass. So mass possesses only mass scalars, and whereas a vectors possess both mass and direction. Mass and direction. Now I will take the example of a force. If you take the example of force, it need not be force, even pressure you take. Force is not a scalar, it is a vector. The reason is it possesses magnitude. It possesses magnitude. Scalars possess only magnitude. Magnitude here, magnitude and direction. Scalar possess only magnitude and vectors possess magnitude as well as direction. Now I will take the example of force. So force is a vector because it has got magnitude and direction. I will give an example. For example, if you hang some object above the ground, it is going to have a gravitational pull, that is mgh, a gravitational pull. So this is a kind of force. So it acts downwards. For example, say 10 kg of force is acting downwards. It is nothing but a vector. For example, a car is moving. So if a car is moving in the direction of the motion, there is going to be active force. So a force acts in this fashion. So force is a vector. It has got both magnitude and direction. Now take a vector. Now this vector, I will draw a vector on this two-dimensional plane. Say for example like this. Say. So this is a force acting. How to represent this? How to mathematically represent this vector is the question. There are three forms. Of representing a vector. There are three forms. These concepts are useful for you when you take up Z transformation. Now I will take a vector, suppose position like this. it can be positioned in any direction you like. It need not be like this. It can be like this, or it can be like this. Now, these vectors can be represented on a two-dimensional plane in three forms. They are called number one, what is known as Cartesian form. Cartesian form. Cartesian form. Number two, polar form. Polar form. And lastly, what is known as exponential form. These are the three forms: Cartesian form, polar form, exponential form. Cartesian form andre in the form of a complex number. Complex number. In the form of a complex number. Polar form, exponential form. I will take up these one by one. First, Cartesian form. So in Cartesian form, the two-dimensional plane is divided into four quadrants by two mutually perpendicular axes. This axis is called real axis, and this is called as imaginary axis or j omega axis. Imaginary axis or j omega axis. This is origin. So this is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. So positive values of real numbers, positive imaginary axis. This is negative imaginary axis. So on this two-dimensional plane, the phasor can be positioned anywhere. For example, like this. This is, say for example, 1 kg. 1 kg of force is positioned like this. Now, before coming to Cartesian form, so in real axis, it's numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. So real axis bears numbers like 1, 2, 3, etc. Whereas an imaginary axis also 1, 2, 3, etc. But we attach j. That means, see, 3 on this axis must be differentiated from 3 on this axis. That is why numbers on this line, vertical line, bears what is known as j. That means j means the meaning of physical meaning, it is perpendicular. So it is perpendicular. It is on perpendicular axis. So that is why here we attach a j sign. J is called as operator. J is called as operator. What is difference between 3 and J3? 3 means on real axis. J3 means it is on vertical, 3 units on imaginary axis. That's all. That is why we attach a J operator to these numbers. Now, if you come to a force in Cartesian form, we represent it like this: A plus JB. A plus JB form. Or A can be positive or negative, B can be positive or negative. General form, A plus JB. For example, if the force is positioned like this, it is of this form. If you measure this length, it will be, and if this angle, say, is 45 degrees, suppose if this angle is 45 degrees, then if you measure this length, it will be 0.707. And if you measure this perpendicular distance, it will be 0.707. But for this, we have to attach J sign because this portion is perpendicular to this. In Cartesian form, we represent this phasor as 0.707 plus J 0.707. This is what is called as Cartesian form. If the phasor is here, then the the real axis portion will be negative, but imaginary axis portion will be positive. So force, these vectors can be positioned anywhere in any quadrant. According to that, you have to write A and B. So this is written as 0.707 plus j 0.707. This is what is called as Cartesian form. Now next I will take up what is known as a polar form. This is very, very important form. What is known as polar form. Polar form. In polar form, the vector is represented in this fashion. Mod m. Mod means it is always, mod number means it is always positive. And this is what is called as magnitude. And theta is called as inclination. Inclination. So magnitude and inclination. This is what is called as polar form. If you take the example of same phasor, here positioned like this, a magnitude of 1, subtending an angle of 45 degrees. Here I will represent it in the polar form. Before that, you must know what is plus theta, what is minus theta. If angles are measured in anti-clockwise direction, angles are taken with plus sign. If you measure angles in this direction, you must take with plus sign. If you measure angle in this direction, you must take with minus sign. For example, same phasor, if it is positioned like this, 45 degrees, then you have to take this angle with minus sign and this angle with positive sign. You must remember, whenever angles are measured in clockwise direction, they are taken with minus sign. Now, in this example, 45 degree is positive because angle is measured in this direction. Now, in polar form, it is represented as 1. Magnitude is 1 and angle is plus 45 degrees. Plus 45 degrees. For example, if the phasor is, if the vector is represented like this, magnitude 2. Now this magnitude is always positive. That is why here it is shown with mod sign. This sign is called as mod sign. So here, if the magnitude is 2, length is 2, and if this is say 150 degrees, then we have to write it as 2 at an angle plus 150 degrees. If you measure in the other way, then the same phasor becomes, the same vector becomes 2 minus 210 degrees, because this angle will be 210 degrees. 210 degrees measured in clockwise direction, taken with minus sign, hence it is 2 at an angle minus 210 degrees. So now you followed what is known as polar form. Polar form means magnitude and inclination. Theta is called as inclination, and it can be plus or it can be minus, but mod m will always be positive. This is what is known as polar form. Lastly, I will take up what is known as exponential notation. In exponential notation, now you understand exponential notation, then I will concentrate on Euler's identity. Exponential notation. In exponential notation, the same phasor which was 1 and it was subtending an angle of 45 degrees is represented as 1 e power j pi by 4. 1 e power j pi by 4. This is what is called as exponential notation. This is magnitude and this is inclination. So inclination is shown as exponential. So pi by 4. Pi means 180 degree. 180 degree. Pi by 4 means 45 degrees. And this 45 degree is measured in this direction, hence it is plus. So it is what is known as 1 e power plus j pi by 4. If the phasor is present is here making 45 degrees, then in exponential notation this is written as 1 e power minus j pi by 4. Pi by 4 amounts to 45 degrees. Okay. So this is what is known as exponential notation. So having understood the exponential notation, now I will come to what is known as Euler's identity. In Euler's identity, so now take a phasor like this having a magnitude 1 and this is theta. This is theta, say 45 degrees. 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Now in trigonometry, this one can be resolved into two components. This is called as horizontal component. This is called as vertical component. Horizontal component. Horizontal component is always given by 1 cos 45 degrees. 1 cos 45 degrees. So 45 degrees is inclination. In trigonometry, horizontal component is what is called as 1 cos 45 degrees. 1 cos 45 degrees amounts to 0.707. Next, the vertical component is 1 sin 45 degrees. So 1 sin 45 degrees also amounts to 0.707. 0.707. 0.707. Hence, this is written as, so e power j pi by 4 is 1 cos is e power j pi by 4. Now coming to Euler's identity, e power j theta is equal to cos theta plus j sin theta. E power j theta. E power j theta. So it is 1 e power j theta. Now resolving this into horizontal component, it becomes 1 cos theta. 1 cos theta and j vertical component. So that is why j here. 1 sin theta. So theta, if you take theta as 45 degrees, then you can substitute the values of theta here. So generally, this notation 1 e power j theta is cos theta. This is cos theta. This is j sin theta. And this is what is called as e power j theta. If the phasor is represented like this, where theta is negative, you have to write it as 1 e power minus j theta is equal to cos theta minus j sin theta. The reason is the vertical component is below real axis. It is below real axis. So it is taken with minus sign. And that is why here 1 e power minus j theta is equal to cos theta minus j sin theta. With this, I will conclude this class. In this class, we understood what is a vector and how it is represented in three forms: Cartesian form, then polar form, and then what is known as exponential form. So it is the knowledge of these forms are very essential from the point of Z transforms also. Thank you.